Hey, 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 it's your girl, Andrea Joyce, and it's been a minute. Welcome, welcome, welcome back to Talk the Talk with Andrea Joyce. I am so excited to be here. So excited. I feel like we haven't talked in so long, and so much has happened, and so much I wanted to talk to you about. So let's get into it. The first thing I want to say to you is if you want to get in touch with me, any questions, concerns, topics you want me to discuss, questions you may have about anything, I want you to email me at AndreaJoyceMedia@gmail.com. AndreaJoyceMedia@gmail.com. And I'll respond back within 48 hours at the most, 72 at the most, but I'll get back to you, I promise. Okay, so today, since we've been gone from each other for so long, I just want to do a check in with you. I want to check in. You know how we do every so often, you got to do a check in to see how you are doing. So I want you to take some time to be with yourself, to sit with yourself, and ask yourself some questions. The first thing I want you to ask yourself is, how are you? We ask everybody else. We're so concerned about everybody else's welfare and health care and everything else. But how are you doing? And now here's what I want to say to you. I want you to be honest. Are you doing good? And what is good by your standard? Is it eating healthy, exercising, budgeting, starting a new business, being an entrepreneur, being a mom, being a wife, whatever? What is good to you? Let's get that settled first. What is your standard? What does good mean to you? So now that you know what good means to you, the next thing I want to ask you is, are you good? Are you really good? Are you really okay? Is everything going the way you need it to go? Are things working the way they need to work? How are you for real? Not the answer we give to the world. Oh, yeah, I'm good. I'm blessed and highly favored. All is well. Um, no reason to complain. Nobody's going to listen if I complain anyway. None of that. I mean, real conversation. Are you doing good? Are you doing well? Is everything okay with you? And if it is, yay, I'm so excited for you. But if it isn't, hey, let's delve deeper. What's going on with you? I'll be honest with you. I'm fair to Midland, as they used to say back in the day. I think I got that from Little House on the Prairie. I'm doing all right. I could be a whole lot better. By the same token, I could be worse. So I'm fair to Midland. I'm all right. I'm in the middle. Good, between good and bad. I'm in the middle. Um, a lot has happened since we last talked. It's been a while, a long while, and I've dealt with a lot. I've dealt with a lot mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, financially, psychologically, personally, privately, publicly, professionally. I have been run over by a Mack truck. I promise you, I have hit rock bottom. And I'm coming back. I am recovering. I am healing. I feel like myself, maybe 30% of myself, to be honest with you. There are moments that I have no idea where my thoughts are, what I'm thinking, what direction I want to go in. Menopause, perimenopause, life, uh, releasing people, people doing things, trying to forgive, taking care of yourself or trying to, but you find out that you're the last on your priority list. Everybody and everything comes before you. There's so much that happens. And when I tell you, I understand because it's been me, and you know I'm the self care queen. I am quick to tell you to self care. Well, I couldn't even self care for myself. And that's just real and that's just honest. So much was happening. I didn't even have a minute for me. Even in the time I designated for me, to be there for me, to tap in and see where I was, I couldn't even do it because I had so many other concerns. So much was on my plate that I could not even enjoy a for myself. What really made me sad was because gifts, and her just because gift was an hour massage. I couldn't even do it, and I'm so upset. Now I still have time before it expires. It was a full year. It doesn't expire for a full year. So I definitely have like 6 months, 7 months still left. So I am going to utilize it. I am going to take it because it has been many, 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 many years since I have had a professional massage, and my bones and muscles are aching for it. And she did it out of the kindness of her heart, out of the goodness of her heart, because of what we were going through as a family and what I was going through. Let me say this to you: don't take your health for granted, and don't take your new life for granted or resent it so much that you don't take care of it the way you should. The crazy thing is that when I was younger, I could not wait to be an adult. I couldn't wait to be grown because growing up, I saw the parties, the drinking, the music, the dancing, the fun life. I'm telling you, adults lied to me. My growing up, I grew up in the 70s and 80s. I was a kid. And so my family would have parties. They would have um, card parties, Pacino parties, parties where they were dancing to music. It would be dance competitions. It would be all of this fun stuff they were doing. And I just could not wait for the day that I, Andrea Joyce, could be partying like a rock star, hosting parties, going to parties, playing spades, playing bid whist, hosting dinners, and oh, I just couldn't wait. You couldn't tell me I wasn't gonna have fun as an adult until I became an adult, grown, and on my own. I moved from Patterson at the age of 26. No, 24. I always confused when I moved to Atlanta because I always confused how old I was when I had a child. We moved to Atlanta, just me and my oldest, at the age of 24. So that was the first official time that I was on my own. And it was rough. I want you to think back to the first time you were officially on your own. Because that's really, what do they say, when you're grown, you're on your own? Um, I don't agree with the you don't need a loan, because we all need help from time to time. But when you are on your own is when I feel like you're grown, because you don't have to answer to anybody except for your landlord if your rent is late or if you have problems or issues or whatever. But you're not answering to an adult in your life like a parent or a sibling or an aunt or a grandparent. You're on your own. So you are now the head of your household. I want you to think back to the first time you were the head of your household. How did it feel to you? How was it? Yeah, we're going to talk because we're checking in with ourselves. For me, I was scared and confused. I was scared because I didn't have a job. I moved to a new place where I had very limited family. I didn't have transportation. I only had a couple of hundred to 1,000. I can't remember how much money I had to make it work. And if that money ran out, I'd have to leave. So I was scared because I was like, how am I going to get a job? How am I going to get around? I didn't know anything about this city. I was brand spanking new to it. I had visited when I was 10 years old and fell in love and said I wanted to move there. But other than that, I had never been to Atlanta. So I moved on the south side of town. Thankfully, I had an uncle who lived in Atlanta who had a hookup and was able to get me in because I never had an apartment in my name. I had never rented before. I didn't understand what you had to do. So the property manager was very kind and she helped me and everything. And so I got settled in, but I was alone, just me and my 2-year-old. I remember being in the apartment. I had no furniture. I just had boxes that were going to be shipped to me that had like dishes in them, pots that my aunts had given me, clothes, some of my daughter's toys and things like that. I think a television, my radio, telephone, maybe. I think that's it. I really didn't have much when I moved to Atlanta. And so I really was starting with nothing. Remember now, being an adult, all I saw or I thought was party, 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 having fun, having a good time. And here I am in an apartment. I don't know how I'm going to pay the bill for the first time since I was 14, not working, not having a job. I've always had a job since the age of 13, actually, because I was what do you call it? A camp counselor at 13. But I always say McDonald's was my first official job at 14, but it was really 13. This is the first time I didn't have a job. And I'm somewhere I don't even know how to get around. I don't know the buses. I don't know the train. I don't know how anything works in Atlanta. I literally had to find every accident. So I was scared. I feel like, you ever watch the Mary Tyler Moore show when she like turns around and throws her hat? I kind of felt like that because it was like, what is this place? Where am I? What's happening? What's going on? I had no clue and no idea. The reason I bring that up is because that's how I felt the last year. Since 2025, the beginning of 2025, I feel like, where am I? What's going on? What's the next step? What do I do? How do I move? How do I maneuver? How? I was so lost. I don't know if you feel or have ever felt like this, but I actually felt lost. With all the knowledge and wisdom and the conversations with God and the prayer and the people in my eye, was lost. Can I tell you something? That's how I felt all of 2025. And then the beginning of 2026, not only did I feel lost, but I felt like the walls were closing in on me. Like life as I knew it was over. I didn't know whether I was going or coming. I didn't know if I wanted to go or come. I didn't know if I wanted the situation anymore. I didn't know if I wanted to strike out. I was so depressed. Can I be real with you? In 2025, I was angry and numb for the majority of it. I had good moments, don't get me wrong. I had celebrations, good things happening, excited about, but I had a lot of anger and I was numb. I was on automatic pilot. So imagine being on automatic pilot, being numb, but you know you're angry. You're bitter about some things. Some things have happened and you just like are ready for war. You got your fists up and you ready, right? And then you have moments of self where your body isn't working the way it used to work. You're starting to feel aches in places you never felt aches before. And you don't even realize with everything happening that you pick up weight, almost 20 pounds. It was a lot for me last year. But this year, the numbness went away. One thing I'll say about being numb, it protects you. Even as you may have other feelings and other emotions, it protects you. So when that numbness goes away and you get to feel the raw, unadulterated feelings and emotions, oh, it ain't nothing to play with. Oh my gosh, I felt every emotion. I felt every feeling and I was shook. I couldn't handle it. The rawness, the realness, the strength of these feelings and emotions. And I just was like, I couldn't breathe. And I'm like, life is really lifing, and I can't get off of it. I can't take a time out. The numbness is gone, so there's no more time out. And I was trying so hard to do the right thing for other people, but it was the wrong thing for me. I didn't realize that between then and last year, I had changed. And this change, this metamorphosis I was going through was demanding that I stick up for myself, that I prioritize myself, that I place myself first for once. And it was so uncomfortable. Because remember, I used to deal with people pleasing, right? So I stopped people pleasing, but I still didn't prioritize myself. I kept saying it. I talked the good talk, I talked a good game, but I still wasn't prioritizing myself. I still was putting others and others' needs ahead of mine and not wanting to hurt anybody. But in the process, because I wasn't prioritizing my real feelings, I was hurting people. And I finally became irritated, agitated, frustrated. I was all the aids you can imagine because I'm like, why do I have to feel guilty about having feelings? And my youngest daughter helped me realize something. She said, there's no guilt in you having your feelings and emotions. Just be honest about them. And being a Libra, and we don't go into zodiacs. I always say this is not a thing, but there's certain things that are just true to people born at a certain time of the year. We don't like confrontation. Even though we will go to war and cut you down, we will just behead you, just take your liver, your heart, and smash it in order to have peace. But we hate confrontation. We don't want to feel like we have to walk on eggshells. We don't want to do something that's going to cause tension, because tension is not peace. Confrontation is not peace. We want peace, but we can't have it until we ruffle some feathers sometimes. And I found myself having to ruffle feathers and being uncomfortable. And because I was uncomfortable, I wasn't at peace. So, what would have been better was for me to be honest, share my feelings and emotions, and let the chips fall where they may. And I'm saying that to you too, because this new life we're in, and we are in a new life. We're no longer 30, we're no longer 40. We're at a place where our children are grown or almost grown. They don't need us as much, even if they're not grown yet. They're doing their own thing. They have their own activities, their own friends, their own concerns. They're not reaching out to ask you questions as much anymore. So you feel this freedom because you may be an empty nester or soon to be empty nester. So there's this freedom, right? But before you can enjoy the freedom too much, now you have an aging parent if they're still alive. And as our parents begin to grow up and age, we realize that they may be suffering. They may be recovering from a stroke, or recovering from a heart attack, or recovering from arthritis or hip surgery. They may have dementia. They may have Alzheimer's. So now you take on another role, which does not allow you to be free. It doesn't allow you to live. And I don't recall being a young person watching adults, seeing them have to deal with this. And so it's a brand new world. It's a new territory. It's wow. When exactly is the carefree, no responsibility having fun part of life. You know what I realized? I was talking to my best friend, and I have two really, really, really best friends. And then I have friends that are best. Okay. Um, I'm blessed to have women in my life that really care about me and are concerned, and vice versa, because I care the heck out of them. But I was talking to one and I said, Bestie, when is the last time you had fun? I even reached out to my sister and I asked her, I said, Sis, when's the last time you had fun? My sister was like, Fun, what's that? My best friend was like, I don't even, I don't know. And it made me sad because I remember being a child looking at adults having fun. That was my whole goal of becoming an adult, to have fun, to not have to answer to anybody, to live and laugh and love and just be free. And here we were, we've gone through our 20s because the adults I was looking at were older than 20. So it wasn't in their 20s, it wasn't the college ages and the after college. This was their 30s and 40s, and I'm going through storms, 30s and 40s, and trying to put my life together. So I thought surely 50s I would be able to be just vacation and travel all around the world and have all the money that I need and be in love and married and children grown, and we running around the house like two married adults doing what married adults do, and hooking up with my girlfriends and going places and having girl uh, adventures, going, locally to, what do you call it? A lounge from time to time, checking out the different drinks that are there. I'm be honest with you. One thing I'm going to always do is be honest and talk about the latest fashion, the latest movie, the latest show. Your kids good, my kids good. Okay, move on, because we ain't, our lives are not about our kids anymore. Our lives are not about our hubbies anymore. Did I miss something? Because where's that? My children are grown and I don't have that responsibility. They wanted to stay in Atlanta and be to themselves, do their own thing. I moved away. I needed a new life because Atlanta had lost whatever it had that I had for it was gone. With all the influx of people and all the traffic, I was angry more than I was calm. And I was like, it's time to go. And so I'm thinking, all right, woohoo, I'm grown. I'm on my own, no kids. I'm single, no kids, an adult. And before I could even enjoy it, I had to become a caregiver. And I would never, ever complain because I'm grateful that my mother is alive. I'm so grateful. But nobody told me how hard it would be. And I've had family, thank God, that I could call and talk to because they've experienced this with their own mothers. So I could call my sister, um, because we have the same dad, different mom, and her mom was my stepmom. We hate that word so much, um, but she cared for her until her dying breath. And so I have a cousin who's more like a sister than a cousin who dealt with her grandmother. I have another cousin, just these are all my sisters, right? Who dealt with her mother, being her caregiver. And so I'm able, thank God, to talk to them. I have a sister, um, that I love that's new. We've been sisters. I got to adopt her into my family the last, what is it, 3 years now almost. June will make it 3 years. Who dealt very similarly to what I dealt with her mom and Alzheimer's. And so thank God for these four women that I can call, because dealing with a parent that has an illness is not easy. I'm grateful because I have my kids who help me. They're there more than I am. They help me because I would be no good. Everybody is not a caretaker, everybody's not a caregiver. I realize that. But as a daughter, it's our job to make sure. And I'm not going to say it's our job, that's the expectation for me. I saw my mom do it. I saw my cousins do it. I saw my sister do it. I saw my sister in love do it. But it's hard. And you lose yourself sometimes. So you need some way, because when you have moments away, you're still not prioritizing yourself. You're catching up with life that you put on pause to care for someone else. It's not easy. And the way it came about was totally different than I would have imagined. So I had to deal with emotions based on how it came to be. And like I said, I was angry a lot last year. This year, I don't have that numbness to cover. And so, saying all of that, I had to do a check in. Yesterday, I broke down. No one wants to see their parent suffer with any sickness, any illness, anything. We want them to be perfect. We don't want to lose them. Cancer is a MF. I'm not going to say the words, but it is. I hate cancer. Um, Unfortunately, I've lost many family members to cancer, and it angers me. I hate it. I wish they would find a cure immediately. But for as bad as cancer is, I think Alzheimer's and dementia are worse because it robs them of their brain power, their mentality, their memory. And it's sad. It's so sad. I just broke thinking about how someone could be full of life and robust. You know, the queen of her castle, slaying dragons, just on fire, just independent, and how this illness can rob them of who they are and rob you of, or them, of the memories, because at some point they may forget you, forget who you are, even though you're right there and they're looking at you. um it robs you of having that person in your life as the person that they were. um because now you can't go to them and talk to them about ABC, because you're going to repeat yourself 40 times and they're still not going to remember what you said. And so I really had to do a check in with myself, because I pretended for so long that I was okay, when in fact I wasn't. But I'm so used to being so strong and being someone other people can lean on and depend on and talk to and pour into, that I never realized I needed that for myself. And it's hard because you don't want to feel like you're burdening others, because everybody has a life, everybody has things going on, everybody is dealing with something, everybody's doing something, everybody has this life. So you don't want to feel like a burden saying, hey, I don't feel myself. Thank God we have God and we can tell God any and everything, but there are times that you need human kindness. You need compassion from a human that can say, I understand, a hug, just to say, I got you, sis. I got you, mom. I got you, auntie. I got you, cuz. I got you, friend. I got you, whoever. So I guess I want you to do a check in to see how you really are doing. And if you need that compassion, so you can reach out to someone you trust, someone you love that loves you, that won't make it about them, but will actually hear you. So you can let that go and release, because that's a stress and a tension that will cause you to stop eating, will cause you to gain weight, will cause you to have headaches, will cause pains that you don't even understand the origin of. Because I've been dealing with this since 2025. And I think I finally got to a place where I was like, I'm not good. And I was able to talk to others who've been in that same place who would not think it complaining, or, well, at least you have your parent. You know, people do that. At least you have your parents, so you should be fine. Not realizing that Alzheimer's and dementia robs you of your parent, because you now are the parent. And then you also have regular life going on, because bills don't stop because you're caring for someone else. You still have to work. You still have to depend on other people for help. Um, Arguments happen between you and people, you know. Um, there's some selfishness that might happen, and you feel guilty because you have to be a little selfish to get some moments so that you don't crack. um Life is still happening, even as you have to maneuver through this new era, this new life that we're in. I wanted to share a little bit of what I was going through, in case there's anybody that's going through having to care for your kids or your spouse or your parents or a loved one or an adopted family, you know, a family that's not your family, but they're your family. You understand? I'm not talking about regular adoption. I'm talking about there's this family who needs moral support and you are their support. I just want you to know you're not alone. And I want you to take care of yourself. That means I need you to go to the doctor. Do you realize I had not been to the doctor in over a year, forgetting appointments or having to reschedule appointments? And I got fussed out, and I was deserving of that fuss out, because here's the thing: if you don't take care of you, you're not going to be around to help other people. So we're expending all our energy and time and money and health for others, but not giving it to us. And if we're sick, there's nobody that can take care of them. Remember, I always say you cannot pour from an empty cup. You can't. There's nothing left. So you got to have stuff poured into you. So you have to take moments where you're selfish, but it's not even selfish to me. It's self-caring, where you prioritize yourself and go take a walk, walk away from the situation. Woosah, meditate, pray, eat on the date. Um, so many things. Get that massage, Andrea. um, Go to the doctor. Make sure you're okay. Make sure there's no underlying anything. Take all the tests that you have to take. It's better to be proactive than reactive. Um, and be honest. I realized that had I been honest about how I felt about some things, there would have been a lot of stress I could have avoided. Some stress did not have to happen, but because I didn't want confrontation or to disappoint someone or let someone down, I wasn't honest. Last year, no, this year, I learned just be honest. Just be honest. I don't feel like it. You know something I've always told you? No is a whole sentence. You ain't got to explain. You do not have to explain. I know one of my bad habits was over explaining because it had to do with people pleasing. But it also had to do with manipulation because growing up, I had to over explain in order to get something or in order to do something or to go somewhere. I had to over explain and give it to the very last compound. And it taught me a bad habit that I had to over explain to everybody in order to get what I wanted. And that's not true. So if you heard nothing else I said, check in on yourself. How are you doing? How are you feeling? I need you to be better and to be the best you. In order for you to do that, you have to know how you're feeling and you got to be honest about it. We're going to talk in the upcoming weeks about different things to focus on, different things to do, different conversations. Oh, we going all in and all out for Talk the Talk. Why? Because we need to have better lives. I don't care how good your life is, it can be better. And we're going for the gold. We are going for the gold in our lives. And we're not waiting until we're 60, 69, 70, 80. And if you are that age, that's fine. Let's choose today to better yourself and to better your life, to better your position. We're going for better. And we're going for broke, doing it. Not being broke. I'm saying we're doing everything we can in order to be better and to have better and to do better and to be better. We just want better, period. Thank you for taking some time to sit with me. I know I've been all over the place, but I really want you to understand how important it is for you to do a self check. Check your temperature, check how you're really feeling. It's no more time to pretend, it's no more time to not want to walk on people's feelings and emotions and walk on eggshells. We're not doing that anymore. We done been through it. We are grown now. And now it's the time that we've got to prioritize ourselves sometimes. I didn't say every day. We're not trying to be selfish, but we need to be a little less selfless. We need to give more to ourselves because we give to everybody else. It's time for us to have for us too. Okay? All right, I'll see you next time. It's your girl, Andrea Joyce. Remember to love what you do what you love, and always keep